Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sportscenetv.net. I'm Anthony Sarinana along with Brian Gelet. We are so glad you could join us. We are at Diamond Ranch High School for the California Classic All-Star Game. And, Brian, so far we have been welcomed with open arms and really seeing the pillars of sports that we really, really embrace.
Well, I didn't expect that was going to be the focus. I really thought this was, all about the athletic ability, which, ultimately football is. But I'm glad to see that the sponsors and the producers of this classic are really identifying with the importance of academics, community, and recognizing the efforts that the kids and the sacrifices they've made. Seems to be, and it's great how the communities embrace it, both Northern California and Southern California as far as sponsors.
And we're seeing it right here in our own backyard. Diamond Ranch High School is the place, and it's just amazing to see a lot of the players that we would talk about day in and day out in our very own podcast, being able to, have an opportunity to stand here and talk with them and just hear how wonderful it is for them to even just, put on the pads one more time.
Well, it was kind of neat because they're kids that we followed all year. Willie Morris out of Chino. How about, as you called him,
Legatron, yeah.
I remember the first game we did this season, we were following that kicker out of Norco, and we're blown away. And now we followed up at our last sports podcast or football broadcast of the year, where we find out now he's made it over to Tempe or AU, and he looks like he's got a bright future. I think he's going to have a nice future with that leg. The way it's starting off, I think we may even see him after college.
And the way you see, our resident coach, Coach Layton, Roddy Layton. With smiles ear to ear. Number one, to be back out here coaching. And number two, to have such an amazing, talented kicker such as Nick, also known as Legatron. This game is really bringing out a lot of good in the sport.
Well, I think what's nice is that they also looked at coaches and mentors that not only could teach these kids again on the field, but as part of this program is preparing them in their next step, preparing them to how to approach colleges, how to do that interview, get them ready for their testing. And as we know, Coach Layton's got many facets or sides to him, and one of them is that he's a great mentor of just transitioning these kids into adults, and that's preparing them. And that is one of his strengths. So great not only to have him on the field to teach them how to run fast, block, where the program, get them committed on the athletics, but also get in their head and get them focused on what is, as well as this program. One of the things you mentioned earlier, I don't know where this is going to come in the edits, but I'm blown away that Hollywood Suit steps up and buys each one of these kids a suit. And I think in saying that it's fairly simple. It's another nuance to this. This, in most cases, are as well as the director of this said, some of these kids are grabbing their suits, they're tucking their jackets in their pants. And yes, it gives them a suit for their prom or for whatever, but this helps them feel better about themselves, helps a suit to go wear to an interview. It's an non-tangible of this event that we wouldn't normally highlight. It may sound silly, it's how I'm talking about it, but I think it's important. I think it's a great step. It tells you that it's more than just sports.
Absolutely. And just as Coach Chris, the event organizer, coordinator of this, said, this is just the beginning. This is what we use to kick off the rest of our year. And, of course, in that interview, he's going to give you information as far as if you want to get involved and you want to donate or help out. They're always looking for that. But, again, the pillars of outside of sports, academics, being a good citizen. I mean, you were the one that brought it up. You overheard the PA announcer talking about, and I'm hoping we'll get a chance to speak to that individual. But what was the GPA of that person?
4.75 is what he said, which we've talked about how the kids get the way to classes, but they also, I don't know if you heard it in your interview with him, he says they vet these athletes before they invite them onto this team, that these are trying to find kids and showcase them and get them ready for the colleges that haven't, that still haven't had the commitment yet, last chance for their crews to see them, kids that may not have been seen in their given programs, maybe ones that weren't being showcased through CIF, Fox, or some of the other networks that were presenting local SoCal sports. So this is great that they've chosen athletes that not only can perform, and by the way, performing. I don't know if you caught some of the play behind us today. These kids don't know.
There was a big hit.
Some hits going on.
So it's an all-star game, but they're still playing.
They're hitting. I think that these kids are really into this game. It's kind of exciting football. Next year, I definitely plan on coming and seeing some fun football.
Yeah, and hopefully we get a chance. Maybe we'll talk to some other players, some other coaches with going on in the ball game. And again, I just really, really working well with this organization and the meaning behind it.
Well, that'd be great, Anthony. Hopefully we can get maybe a post game out of the second half, and we're sitting between the D3 and D4 game right now, and our D1 game. And
hey, we live, guys? Are we live? Are we on the air or what?
Look at this guy.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm working today, but I'll meet you guys hopefully after the game after a big win.
Yeah, all right, and we'll sit down.
Post-game show.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are out here. We got a lot of good local kids coming out.
Hey, we just commented. These kids realize that this is an all-star game. They seem to be hitting out here.
Oh yeah, it's bragging rights right now. You know, and when I pulled up, the ABC truck was here and the NBC truck was leaving. Right? So yeah, this is bragging rights.
So in this next game, who should we keep an eye out for? Give us some numbers.
I really like Malik Walker from Corona High School. I think our defense, there's multiple players. I think they're going to play well, but our running back Malik, I think is exciting. I really would like to see Willie Morris from Chino buzz something big. We have him on kick return. Had a good week of practice. We have Samson from Southland Christian and Walnut High School, from Walnut area, and I think he's a big Polynesian running back with another Poly in front of him with Juju, and might be short down distance, but he might be able to pop somewhere.
How about that center from Rancho? That kid's huge.
Those Rancho kids are great, and they said such great things about Coach Baez when we talked to him during. We've been with him for the last couple of weeks in practice. But he's also a boisterous, he's a leader. You could see that. And, we had a chance to talk about the Mission Viejo games and the Mater Dei games, and they've played in big games, the Rancho kids. So, hopefully they're not too much in shock and awe right here, and they'll just come out and play football like they did all year.
How's it feel to put on the coaching hat again?
It feels loose. I would say I lost my hair, but it was gone before I left. And the big debate was which hat was I going to wear, but I figured I'm at Diamond Ranch. I'm going to wear my Diamond Ranch gear. I even got my DR socks on if they could cover that. So, but no, I figured since I'm back on my old home field, I would represent.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to debriefing after all this.
We'll do that.
Breaking this down and talk about the benefits and the pains of all this.
Yeah, there was both. Let me get on the field, guys.
All right.
So there you have it. Who was that guy? We forgot to announce him. So there you have it. But, Brian, I think to wrap things up as they're getting ready to get the next game rolling, you heard the cheers in the background for this last one. But, again, all about football but more about life.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we like to bring out.
All right, so we hope that you continue to watch our videos as we post them up here from the California Classic. We'll do a post-game show with Brian and myself, and who knows, maybe even Coach Layton as well. So for Anthony, I'm Anthony. For Brian, you're watching us here on...
The guy that's not here, that was Roddy.
That was Roddy. You're watching us here on sportscenetv.net.